Return of the Mount Hua Sect, Chapter 189. With those skills, Jo-byung was in disbelief. He had won. His son, Jogul, had won against Tangjan, but Jo-byung couldn't accept what he had seen. Who was Tangjan? The Sichuan Tang family ruled Sichuan. Tangjan was a direct descendant of that family where only blood was valued. Their ability wasn't something that needed to be further verified, and it was a family with a name outside Sichuan. But now, his son had defeated him. How did this happen? He didn't send his son to Mount Hua because he had some hidden talent in swords. No, he did have talent. Wasn't that why he sent his son, who was supposed to be a merchant, to a sect? He did indeed have talent. But was that talent enough to defeat a direct child of the Tang family? No, Jo-byung wasn't convinced at all. He couldn't help but underestimate his son. A merchant was a person whose job was to accurately judge the value of others. Although Jogul was his cherished child, Jo-byung knew that Jogul didn't have amazing talent. But this son of his had struck down his opponent, and that too, Tangjan. He knew he had to say something now, but it wasn't that easy. At that moment, Jogul retrieved his sword and put it back into the sheath, and then turned around. And Jo-byung looked in the direction he walked towards with a smile. "Sasuk, I won." "Right, Jogul. Wobble, wobble. I won. What is this? When did I bleed? So much. Sasuk, I feel a little dizzy." Don't talk. "Sasuk, blood keeps coming out of Jogul's neck. Isn't he going to die from this? Practitioners, healers, come here and help right now." While Baekchun and Yoonjung were worried about what they had to do, Yu Yi-sol hurriedly stepped ahead and grabbed Jogul's neck to stop the bleeding. "Sago, I'm fine." "Don't talk. You will faint." Yes." Jogul's face was pale. Although he did win, he bled too much from the injury to his neck. It seemed like the last blade had cut a blood vessel. Chong-myung approached him by clicking his tongue and pressed 2 places in Jogul's neck, and the blood began to stop flowing. "Oh my, an inch more and you would have died." "What are you saying? Always saying something evil. You evil bastard. Ghost." Chong-myung pouted at the intense reactions to his words. "I was just stating the truth." Baekchun and Yoonjung groaned, but Jogul laughed. "Are you happy?" "Of course." "That much?" "Yes." "Then give me some money." "Right, I will lend you." "Yeah, idiot." You didn't fall for it." Chong-myung clicked his tongue. He wanted to have a little more fun, but seeing Jogul smile like he had won everything in the world, his motivation to tease him dropped considerably. Even when he defeated the Wudang disciples, even when they obtained the pill, Jogul hadn't looked this happy. For Jogul Sahyung, this had to have been a big wall. As long as he manages to topple the wall, Jogul will continue to grow. When it came to talent for the sword, Jogul was second to none in Mount Hua. In the absence of Chong-myung, the reputation of Mount Hua's first sword would have been passed from Baekchun to Jogul. It would have been nice if he could bloom a bit more. It wasn't just the sword that had to make the plum blossoms bloom. The people of Mount Hua also had to bloom. Chong-myung shook his head. The 3 people of the Tang family, among them Tangjan, was still unable to process the defeat and stood staring at the air. "You're not leaving? Or do you need another verification?" Tangjan bit his lip. He had a lot to say, but it made no sense to speak anything in this situation. Neither Mount Hua's divine dragon nor the righteous sword of Hua was behind it. He was defeated by Jogul, who didn't even have a title yet. This was an utter defeat. Tangjan clenched his fist. He felt humiliation and defeat. A number of unknown emotions were swirling within him. When he thought about how his position in the family would fall because of this, he felt dizzy. It was then. "Here." Tangjan raised his head. He saw the figure of Chongmyung holding out a bottle towards him. It is best to have a drink when you feel down. Gulp it down. Tangjan looked shocked. Is this one making fun of me? He thought this guy was unusual, but he didn't think he would go to this extent. Did you think you'd never even lose once in your life? Tangjan's eyes widened at those words. Chongmyung's words struck his heart, but Tangjan wasn't going to admit to it right away. What are you talking about? I am not that arrogant. Even in my family, there are plenty of older brothers who are stronger than me. Right, older brothers. What? Chongmyung smiled bitterly. You never thought you'd lose to someone younger than you, or even to someone who is close to your age. There are a lot of people stronger than you right now, but you thought you'd always be able to catch up to them, didn't you? Tangjan didn't say anything and stayed silent. Seeing that, Chongmyung grinned. Why wouldn't he? All the people who are his age would have similar thoughts. The dream to become the best in the world someday was attainable if their growth was like this. Chongmyung? Of course, Chongmyung was the same. I really will not lose, but... However, most of those who think they couldn't lose, one day they would experience defeat. One day they would learn to accept their limitations. But, do you think someone who has never lost can ever become stronger? Tangjan looked at Chongmyung and flinched. He no longer looked like a playful figure. The light in Chongmyung's eyes, as he was looking at him from the side, had the power to make even the most powerful person in the world hold their breath. When a wound heals, the flesh gets stronger. Conversely, an uninjured body doesn't grow. Chongmyung shrugged. The choice is yours. Will you use these wounds of defeat as a stepping stone to get stronger? Or will you be bullied by this wound which has hurt your pride? Chongmyung held the bottle. What is your choice? Tangjan looked at Chongmyung and snatched the bottle from his hand and gulped down its entire contents without hesitation. Good. Frowning at the taste of it, he returned the empty bottle to Chongmyung. Good. Chongmyung smiled and took the bottle from him. Gulp, gulp. Kah! Chongmyung, who drank from the other bottle, spoke. Well, this is nothing to be embarrassed about. Maybe it will be embarrassing for now, but you will grow out of it. Chongmyung glanced at Jogul. Soon, the world will know that losing to that man isn't a shame. Tangjan bit his lip. I hope it happens like that. Of course. When Chongmyung turned away, Tangjan called him. Can I ask you one thing? Huh? Chongmyung looked back with a frown, and Tangjan asked, How strong are you? Chongmyung smiled. With your skills now, it will be difficult. That... But we never know. Chongmyung spoke with a playful face. If the number of blades had been 12 instead of 11, I would have had to be careful too. Tangjan looked at Chongmyung with a shocked face. How did you know? Well, that will also be known in the distant future. Anyway, try your best. Even if you cannot win over me, you can become the best in your family. Chongmyung waved his hand and turned around. The guests are leaving! And went inside the room he came from. Baekchun, who watched it from the side, approached Tangjan. Excuse him. He is an unpredictable one. No. Tangjan shook his head. Strangely, he felt at ease. It is unknown. He got his mind to ease with a few short words. Tangjan looked at Baekchun. I apologize for our rudeness. It is nothing. Baekchun also spoke back and bowed. Still, Baekchun didn't miss the look in Tangjan's eyes. It is strange. This was the first time Chongmyung had shown interest in someone other than his sect members. It wasn't like he met many people of other sects, but all of a sudden, Baekchun's eyes went to one place, the hand of Tangjan as he took off his glove. He didn't know it from afar, but when he looked up close, there were countless small wounds on his hands. Was it because he worked hard? It was unknown. No one could ever know what went on in Chongmyung's mind. We will head back for now. Will it be fine? Well, I don't know. As I said, this is a family thing. I'll just go back and report that I lost to Jogul. The family will decide what happens after that. Baekchun nodded. Go carefully. Then, Tangjan picked up the blades which had fallen to the floor and stored them. Let's go. Yes, brother. Tangmyeong lifted up the fallen Tangho and followed his brother. The people of Mount Hua who watched it sighed. It was like a storm. Will the Tang family stand still, Sahyung? Well, Baekchun scratched his chin. It is said that the Sichuan Tang family doesn't forget even the smallest grudges. Tangjan seemed to have found peace, but his will couldn't represent the will of his family. Regardless of what he wanted, the Lord would be the one deciding things. Baekchun took a deep breath. He caused trouble again. Jogul and Yunjong looked at Baekchun as if it was absurd. The trouble was caused by Sasuk. Let's head in. We need to heal your wound. No, the one who made this, Sasuk. You shouldn't talk. Your wound is a grave one. Baekchun coughed and walked inside. Yu Yisol and the other disciples looked at each other. Sahyung, Doesn't Sasuk seem to be getting a little weird these days? These days? A little. What will happen to Mount Hua? The other three sighed at the same time. Clank. Chongmyung, who went into the room to escape the chaos, poured a drink into the glass in front of him, and he quietly set the glass on the other side. Well, there was no one there. Chongmyung pretended to raise the bottle and smash it down on the glass as if someone was there. It was similar. Chongmyung smiled. The appearance of Tangjan reminded him of the old days. A long time ago. A very long time. Right, a very long time ago. No, that was Tyung. I asked you to leave me a share too, because there is no one better at sticking knives in the backs of those demons than me. Because of this damn bastard, Sichuan has been devastated. I'm never going to send them back nicely. Hyung, are you seriously a Taoist? No, what I mean is the more I see Hyung with me, the more you feel like a hypocrite. No, put that sword down for a second. What kind of person speaks with a sword and not with a mouth? Ugh! Hyung, the Tang family, my family, look after them. Tak. Chongmyung put the bottle down, a little rough, and closed his eyes. Mount Hua risked everything to fight the demonic sect. But in the long run, was it only the lives of Mount Hua's disciples that had been risked? I'm sorry. In the end, I couldn't keep your request to take care of your Tang family, because Chongmyung also died. It can be said that the Tang family was protected because he died by defeating the heavenly demon. But Chongmyung knew that alone couldn't be considered to have kept the promise he had made. Your technique continues. 12 blades, 12 daggers. It was still 11 in the hands of the kids, but the day will come when the 12th one would be used by the hands of the Tang family. Of course, for me, Mount Hua is the priority. But don't worry, even if the Tang family ends up getting hit this time, I'll be here to take care of it at least once. I promise this to your face. Chongmyung picked up the glass he put to the side and drank it. Then, he put it down and immediately refilled it. Let's have a drink, though it doesn't taste the same as in the past. A bitter smile appeared on the corner of Chongmyung's lips.